Hello, students. When we left off for Learning Target 6, we left off at blanket primaries. So I'm going to continue and give you a video lesson for the remainder of Learning Target 6. It's not much, but stick with me. Your quiz for this, or like the homework, or to prove to me that you watched this, will be to take notes on your lecture slides, and I'll be checking those notes when you're taking your test. So this will be due like Thursday, and I'll tell you what I want for notes as we go through. So here we go. Checking out this 2011 FRQ. Kind of a complicated one, a lot there, but I don't think it's very hard. So you should know this stuff, and I want you to answer it. Don't worry about A, and I think you know A. Don't worry about jotting down notes for A, but I want you to jot down notes for B, C, and D. Just jot those down on your lecture slides or in a notebook, and I'll be checking that. That'll be part of what I would call like a quiz grade to make sure you're watching this lesson. If you're still not sure what a caucus is, I linked up a good video here. The Iowa caucuses start tomorrow, Monday, I believe. So we'll be checking out some of that in class as well. So taking notes on B, C, and D here. Make sure you do that. Think it through. Try to use some facts. Think about the percent of superdelegates here. And then this one you got to think through. You should be able to come up with some good ideas there. All right, new stuff. Still looking at political parties affecting elections. I want to talk to you about this. I've seen this thrown around a little bit. It's kind of a famous thing in American politics. It's called the 1994 Contract with America. It was put forth by Newt Gingrich, who was the Republican House leader at the time. And then after the 1994 election, he became the Speaker of the House because, as you know, the leader of the majority party in the House of Representatives always becomes the Speaker of the House. So Newt Gingrich, he ran for president, I believe it was 2008 or 2012, I can't remember, but pretty famous politician, not so much anymore, from the Republican Party. So here's what it was, and this affected the election because it let people know what the Republican Party was going to do if they voted them in as the majority party. So it was a really effective strategy. It basically came out and said, hey, people, if you vote Republican, here's what you're going to get. And then all these different Republican candidates for Congress across the country signed this contract. So it lets people know what they're voting for when they vote for a Republican candidate. Because as you know, it's hard to get to know the candidates real well. So when you know that they signed this contract and you're aware of what's on the contract, you know exactly what you're voting for. So the 1994 Contract with America was really influential in that 1994 contract. It is looked at as the reason that the Republicans were able to gain control of Congress again. Bill Clinton was president at the time. You can click on that in the slides if you wish to see exactly what that contract was and what their promises were. Something to think about. I've seen these words thrown around, and that might come up on an FRQ on your AP exam. What if we had national and regional primaries? How would that impact elections? Okay, so think about that and jot down some notes. Jot me down one or two ideas on the right side of your notes. That'll be part of your assignment that goes along with this. So make sure you're writing that down. Pause it and think, how would national and regional primaries impact elections? Oh, hold on. Okay, we're back. Mr. Brewer popped in the room there. Anyway, I want you to write down some ideas you have here. How would a national or regional primary impact the general election? Think, and we'll discuss that in class. Another vocab word, front-loading. Front-loading. Right now you're hearing all about the Iowa caucuses and the Iowa, and then it's New Hampshire. And these guys have a huge impact on the election because they're first. So this plays into momentum, which we'll talk about next. If you can win Iowa, other people in other states start thinking like, ooh, they might have a chance in the general election, and then they might change their primary vote for you as a Republican or Democratic candidate. So a little picture here for you to check out. And then this question here, obviously the answer is D, right? So this is called front loading. The recent tendency of states to hold primaries early so they can capitalize on the media attention. So this ties into political parties with the primary part and also how the media impacts elections. So a nice little transition here as we move away from political parties and into the other linkage institutions that impact elections. Speaking of that, momentum, big Mo. All right. not a vocab word necessarily here. You know what momentum means, but you need to understand that it is huge in primaries. I have a feeling you might see a FRQ question about this because it's become even more significant in recent years. Momentum is when poll numbers impact donations and voting behavior, and they do exactly that. So winning Iowa gives you momentum. That's all this ties in. Things that can take away momentum when you do something stupid. I want you to search on YouTube the scream that doomed Howard Dean, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then, if you want to laugh, Google Black Howard Dean by The Chappelle Show, or go YouTube that. It's pretty funny. Donald Trump, his greatest asset are his poll numbers. His greatest asset for voters is his momentum. He doesn't have any substance, and I'm not ripping on him here. I mean, it's true, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. He doesn't tell you what he wants to do as president in detail. He tells you, people love me because I'm awesome. And that gets people to love him more, and it makes him awesome. So he tweets great poll numbers, and people see that, and they like his momentum, which helps him to pick up more momentum, pick up more voters. So watch this video, and then also YouTube Black Howard Dean. You'll get a kick out of that. And then ask your parents if you can go eat pizza tonight with your friends, and if they say yes, I want you to go, Bia! And see if they know what that is. Interest groups, how do they affect elections? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? If you know what an interest group is, you can think about how they impact elections. So I want you to write this down. This is part of your assignment as well. On your notes, talk about how interest groups can impact elections through grassroots mobilization, how they impact elections through money. I should see a certain vocab word there, right? Because interest groups can't directly give money. So how do they? Hint, hint. Look at down here. This is an example of the NRA grade book that they put out before elections. I don't know what state this is from, but there's a governor's race, and the NRA gives each candidate a grade. The Republican gets a B minus, the Democrat gets an F. And then over here, interest groups also can endorse candidates. So what I'm looking for is jot down how money impacts elections through or how interest group money can impact elections, and jot down how grassroots mobilization can impact elections. I want to see you writing those things down. And then last slide, and we're done. I want you to answer this question, right? Just jot me down some notes on this FRQ. Just brainstorming, how can media impact elections? You just need to be thinking about this stuff. So when you see it on the FRQ, when you take your AP exam this spring, you don't have to sit there and pound your head against the desk. I want this stuff fresh in your mind so you can spit it out and start writing right away. That's it. So you watch this video, jot down all the things on the right side of your slide notes that I asked you to, and I will check those, and that will then act as your Learning Target 5 quiz. I will see you tomorrow. Sorry I didn't get this out sooner. I had to post grades, and it was a pain in the butt. There will be no homework this week outside of this lesson.